So we can see that for every linear transformation, let's say if you take Rn to Rm. So for every linear transformation, there is a matrix A. And for every matrix, we can construct a linear transformation. So there is a 1-1 correspondence between the linear transformations and matrices. So if you have this, then A is going to be a matrix of size m by n. Right. And here there are some subspaces which were given by T. The subspaces are, one is kernel T and another one is range of T. So kernel T is nothing but which is the collection of vectors in the first set. Let's assume T is a linear transformation from V to W such that the image of V equal to 0. It means you are collecting all vectors in the domain which are mapped to 0, and that is what we define it as kernel, and it is a subset of V. This is a subset of V, and this forms a vector space. This kernel T is a vector space. And similarly, you can observe that the range of T, that is, you are collecting all elements in W which have pre-images, that is, image of V is going to be W, or I should write it like this. There exists some V in V such that the image of V equal to W. So we are collecting all pre-images. So this is what we call, sorry, not the pre-images, we are collecting all elements which are having pre-images. So now this is a subset of W. Okay, and you can see that this range of T forms a subspace of W. Now since these two are subspaces, then we can talk about their dimensions. So whenever you have a vector space and when you know that it is finite dimensional, you can talk about its dimension, right? So here the kernel T is a subspace. Now we are going to take the dimension of the kernel T. This we are going to take it as nullity of A. We are giving a name. Okay, so nullity of A. And whereas the dimension of range of T, the dimension of range T, we are going to call rank of T. Now there is a theorem which is called rank nullity theorem. Did you remember the rank nullity theorem? So if you have a linear transformation from one vector space to another vector space W, then the dimension of this V is going to be split into two parts. One, the all elements which are mapped to 0. It means, so let's say this is the part which is mapped to 0, and you see what is the dimension of this subspace. Let us say the dimension is K. The dimension of the subspace is K. Then let's assume we started with a n dimensional vector space. Okay, so here if you observe that the K dimension which is lost to 0, in the n dimensional, the K dimension is lost to 0. So now how much dimension is left? So we are left with n minus K dimension. So if you look at the range of T, let me simply write it as R of T. So now its dimension is going to be n minus K. Okay, so this is simple. The thing is, let's assume that you started with a 3-dimensional vector space and you came to know that the 1-dimensional space is mapped to 0. Okay, so 1-dimensional space is mapped to 0. So now you are left with 2 dimension. So that must be the dimension of the range of T. Or in other words, this is what it says. The rank T plus nullity must be equal to the dimension of the domain. Rank T, it means the dimension of the kernel, which is the elements which are mapped to 0, plus, what did I say? Nullity of T is the dimension of the kernel, and the rank T is the dimension of the image. So this must be equal to the dimension of the domain. Okay, so this is what you studied when you studied that linear algebra part, rank nullity theorem for a linear transformations. Okay, so to understand it better, let me take an example. Suppose if I start with a mapping which is mapped to xyz to xyz equal to just x plus y comma 0, z x minus y. Now the null space is going to be 0. I don't want it to happen, so I will take 0 here. Now you do one thing, you see what are all the elements which are mapped to 0 here under this transformation. It means we want this to be 0, 0, 0. So this can be 0 when x plus y is 0 and when x minus y equal to 0. So it is possible only when x and y both are equal to 0. Therefore, if you observe that the image of xyz can be 0 when x is 0, y is 0. So z can be anything. You take any number in place of z. So the image of 0, 0, z is always 0, 0, 0. Therefore, if you look at kernel T is nothing but all elements is of this form, where z belongs to R. Now what is its dimension? Dimension of kernel T is nothing but 1. So now you can see that one dimension is lost to 0. Now how much is left? Now you are left with 2 more dimensions. You started with a 3-dimensional space. You already came to know that one dimension is mapped to 0 kernel. Now we are left with 2-dimensional. So the image must be, it means the range must be 2-dimensional space. So here you can clearly see that the range is nothing but xz plane. So now xz plane is a 2-dimensional object, right? So the image of this is a 2-dimensional plane. So the first one we call nullity, whereas the second one we call rank. So rank plus nullity is equal to the dimension of the domain. So when it comes to the matrices, we observed one thing. So if you have a linear transformation from Rn to Rm, you'll have a matrix of size m by n. So where the number of columns represents the dimension of the domain, right? So therefore, now we can rewrite rank nullity theorem this way: rank T plus nullity equal to the number of columns. That is what the dimension of the domain. Okay, so that is what the rank nullity theorem when it comes to matrices. Both are same because we know the linear transformations and matrices both are same. They are not different. They are the same objects. Okay, but the way of seeing is different. That's it. So when it comes to matrix, you see it with the coordinate vectors, but when it comes to a transformation, we'll see it with the normal vectors. That's it.
XZ plane రాశారు కదా సార్.
I'm saying the image is xz plane. Let's say if I look at the image of 1, 2, 1, what is the image? The image is nothing but 3, 0, 0. No. 3, 0, minus 1. This element, does it belongs to xz plane? Huh?
Yes sir, understood sir.
Don't look at the notation x and y here. You see where that element belongs to. Here what I can see is the second coordinate is 0. It means y equal to 0. Y equal to 0 is nothing but xz plane. Suppose let me do one thing. Let me make a small change here. Instead of taking x minus y, I'll write x plus y. Then what happens here? I'll get x plus y. It means there is only one equation. Then here I get y equal to minus x. So now when it comes to kernel T, now the all elements which are mapped to 0 are nothing but x minus x z. So x minus xz is mapped to 0. Now if you look at the dimension of this space, this is actually 2-dimension, right? So when it is a 2-dimensional space, so dimension of the kernel T is 2. So now what must be the rank? So if the nullity is 2, now you started with a 3-dimensional space, you came to know that 2 went for nullity. Now the 1, this must be the image of range of T. Okay, but here can you tell me what is the image? Is it an xz plane? Now you try to observe one thing. That point is on the xz plane only, but it's not totally occupying the xz plane. See, it is of this form. If it is a and it is 0, a 0, a. So now it is actually a line on the xz plane. So the line is nothing but x equal to z and y equal to 0. That is the line or intersection of these two planes. One is xz plane and another one is x equal to z. Intersection of these two will give you a line. Now that is a 1-dimensional object, a line. It's not a plane now. Now the rank of T is 1 and the nullity is 2.
సార్ ఇందాక కెర్నల్ టీ దగ్గర ర్యాంక్ టీ డెఫినేషన్ చెప్పారు కదా సార్, అదొకసారి.
Range of T na, rank of T na?
Sorry sir, range of T.
Okay. See, you're taking a mapping from one space to the another space, right? So here I'm looking at the range. Range means what? Let's say the entire V is mapped to this circle only. Let's assume. Okay, it means whatever element you pick up here, W, I can give you a V which is mapped to W. See, for example, let's look at this example itself. T of xyz is mapped to x plus y, 0, x plus y. Suppose if I ask you what is the pre-image of 1, 0, 1, I hope you can tell me what is the pre-image of 1, 0, 1. 1 comma 0 comma 0 is mapped to 1, 0, 1, right? Not only this, there are infinitely many. Suppose if you take 0 comma 1 comma 0, this is also mapped to 1, 0, 0 only. But if I ask you what is the pre-image of 1, 1, 0, can you tell me, can you give me any x, y, z for which t of x, y, z equal to 1, 0, 0? Oh, sorry, 1, 1, 0. It means we know what is t of x, y, z. That is x plus y, 0, x plus y. We want this to be equal to 1, 1, 0. Now this implies x plus y must be 0, and the second quadrant 0 equal to 1, the second element, and the third element x plus y equal to 0. Sorry, this is actually 1. But this is an impossible case. 0 cannot be equal to 1, so I can't give you any xyz which is mapped to 1, 1, 0. It means this element is not in the range set. 1, 1, 0 is not in the range set. How can you say that it is not in the range set? Whatever element you take which will not be mapped to 1, 1, 0 under this transformation, right? So if you want to say an element is in the range set, you should collect all w's in W such that there is someone, that is V, whose image is W. There is at least one V whose image is W. Then I can say that is there in the range set, and that is the definition of the range set.